Chapter 1 of Louise de la Valliere. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Robert Snoza, Houston, Texas, February 2013. Louise de la Valliere by Alexandre Dumas. Chapter 1. Malaga. During all these long and noisy debates between the opposite ambitions of politics and love, one of our characters, perhaps the one least deserving of neglect, was, however, very much neglected, very much forgotten, and exceedingly unhappy. In fact, D'Artagnan we say, for we must call him by his name to remind our readers of his existence. D'Artagnan, we repeat, had absolutely nothing whatever to do amidst these brilliant butterflies of fashion. After following the king during 2 whole days at Fontainebleau, and critically observing the various pastoral fancies and heroic comic transformations of his sovereign, the Musketeer felt that he needed something more than this to satisfy the cravings of his nature. At every moment assailed by people asking him, "How do you think this costume suits me, Monsieur d'Artagnan?" he would reply to them in quiet, sarcastic tones, "Why, I think you are quite as well dressed as the best-dressed monkey to be found at the fair at Saint Laurent." It was just such a compliment D'Artagnan would choose when he did not feel disposed to pay any other, and whether agreeable or not, the inquirer was obliged to be satisfied with it. Whenever anyone asked him, "How do you intend to dress yourself this evening?" he replied, "I shall undress myself," at which the ladies all laughed, and a few of them blushed. But after a couple of days passed in this manner, the Musketeer, perceiving that nothing serious was likely to arise which would concern him, and that the king had completely, or at least appeared to have completely forgotten Paris, Saint-Mandé, and Belle-Isle, that Monsieur Colbert's mind was occupied with illuminations and fireworks, that for the next month at least the ladies had plenty of glances to bestow, and also to receive in exchange, D'Artagnan asked the king for leave of absence for a matter of private business. At the moment D'Artagnan made his request, his Majesty was on the point of going to bed, quite exhausted from dancing. "You wish to leave me, Monsieur d'Artagnan?" inquired the king, with an air of astonishment, for Louis XIV could never understand why anyone who had the distinguished honor of being near him could wish to leave him. "Sire," said D'Artagnan, "I leave you simply because I am not of the slightest service to you in anything. Ah! If I could only hold the balancing pole while you are dancing, it would be a very different affair." "But, my dear Monsieur d'Artagnan," said the king gravely, "people dance without balancing poles." "Ah, indeed," said the Musketeer, continuing his imperceptible tone of irony. "I had no idea such a thing was possible." "You have not seen me dance, then?" inquired the king. "Yes, but I always thought dancers went from easy to difficult acrobatic feats. I was mistaken. All the more greater reason, therefore, that I should leave for a time. Sire, I repeat, you have no present occasion for my services. Besides, if your Majesty should have any need of me, you would know where to find me." "Very well," said the king, and he granted him leave of absence. "We shall not look for D'Artagnan, therefore, at Fontainebleau, for to do so would be useless, but with the permission of our readers follow him to the Rue de Lombard, where he was located at the sign of the Pilon d'Or, in the house of our old friend Planchet. It was about 8 o'clock in the evening, and the weather was exceedingly warm. There was only one window open, and that one belonging to a room on the entresol. A perfume of spices mingled with another perfume less exotic, but more penetrating, namely, that which arose from the street, ascended to salute the nostrils of the Musketeer. D'Artagnan, reclining in an immense straight-backed chair, with his legs not stretched out, but simply placed upon a stool, formed an angle of the most obtuse form that could possibly be seen. Both his arms were crossed over his head reclining upon his left shoulder like Alexander the Great. His eyes, usually so quick and intelligent in their expression, were now half closed, and seemed fastened, as it were, upon a small corner of blue sky that was visible behind the opening of the chimneys. There was just enough blue, and no more, to fill one of the sacks of lentils or haricots which formed the principal furniture of the shop on the ground floor. Thus extended at his ease, and
Sample complete. Ready to continue?